What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the July 24th, 2021 edition of Talking Smack. So this would seem to confirm, based off what I saw here and on Raw Talk this past week, that they will indeed be hosting these talk shows from a studio moving forward. So this week, basically what happened, last week we had Kevin Patrick and Matt Camp in the studio. Raw Talk had Matt Camp and Kayla Braxton in the studio. And on SmackDown, or Talking Smack last week, they had Kayla Braxton and I think Sarah Schreiber doing like the in-person interviews at the building. So then like Raw had Kevin Patrick doing the in-person interviews, or no, Megan Morant last week, Sarah Schreiber on Raw. She's a Raw girl. So she was on Raw, and then hosting that show was, like I said, Kayla Braxton and Matt Camp. Talking Smack this week was hosted by Matt Camp as like the lead host, and then joining him was Peter fucking Rosenberg. Oh, I mean, I don't hate the guy. The guy has a lot of questionable opinions, though, because clearly he may not be on the WWE payroll, but like he's on their shows enough where he can't be too critical of the product. He made some sort of dumb statement the other day about something. I don't remember what it was about. Was it something Punk or Bryan? I don't remember. It was something WWE. Oh, no, it was like defending the Karrion Kross debut. And it was something incredibly stupid. So to have him pop right back up a couple days later on Talking Smack immediately took my letter grade of this show down a complete, like just one whole grade. Less of Peter Rosenberg, please. Remember he had that show on the network like 4 or 5 years ago? What was it called? Bring It to the Table or something. Just not fucking good. It was basically like their version of just shitting on the online audience. Him, JBL, and maybe Sam Roberts. It might have just been those two. Corey Graves maybe too. And it just was not good. It's a decent idea like with what ESPN does, but WWE's version of it was just like shitting on the fans. So thankfully that did not last long. And hopefully he doesn't last long here on the show. I don't hate the guy, but I would personally prefer Sam Roberts over Rosenberg. He was fine on this show, though. So they had them at the studio, which, again, would seem to confirm to me that they're done doing what they were doing before and having the talent talk for a while on the set of Talking Smack and doing the show at the building and not live because this was, went up on Saturday and they filmed it probably on Friday night. I just like that format a lot better, having the talent in person at the desk, at the building, backstage or something. They obviously can't do it in the arena like they were doing during the Thunderdome era because there's fans there now, but just do it backstage. That's what Renee Young and Daniel Bryan did 5 years ago. Why can't they fucking do that again? I don't know. I just don't really like this at all. There's just so much fucking filler. It's just very boring. They talk about Edge and Rollins, their interaction on SmackDown, and how Roman Reigns declined John Cena's challenge for a match at SummerSlam. Rosenberg literally said the exact same shit that I think either Matt Camp said last week or Kevin Patrick about how this is a different Roman Reigns from a few years ago, the last time these two went head-to-head. And it might require different tactics from John Cena. Rosenberg says that Roman is probably playing mind games with both John Cena and Finn Balor by turning down Cena but agreeing to face Finn Balor. They recap Big E's Money in the Bank win, and Rosenberg says that Big E should let it play out before he decides which champion he wants to, cash in the contract on. And they threw it over to Big E and Kayla Braxton at the building. And Big E kind of summarized what he already told me. Cheap plug, check out my exclusive interview with the new Mr. Money in the Bank right here on the channel from Friday, in audio form and in article form over on Bleacher Report from Friday as well. But Big E said the same thing to her that he said to me about how it was so fulfilling to have that moment in front of fans, becoming the new Mr. Money in the Bank at the pay-per-view. He talked about how he slept 90 minutes because he was on such a high and had so much adrenaline. He was so excited. He just kind of reflected in his room for the night, and he's still kind of letting everything sink in. He said the New Day, Kofi, and Xavier Woods were the first people to greet him when he came through the curtain on Sunday when he walked back, and how they will always be brothers, and he's always beyond grateful for those guys. And he teases cashing in on all four current contenders for the top titles. He, teases that big men slapping meat match that he wants with Goldberg if he beats Bobby Lashley. He teases a match with Bobby, given the current issues that Lashley has had with the New Day, so that would make sense too. Big E and Cena, if it would come down to it. Cena was always very high on Big E back in the day in FCW. Big E's first night on Raw, he actually attacked John Cena at the Slammy Awards in 2012. You can go off that as well. And then obviously him and Roman, he's been going after Roman and talking about Roman for like 6 months now. So that's an idea as well. So then they kind of go back to the studio with Rosenberg saying that Edge has always wanted to face Rollins. Edge told Rosenberg that himself on his podcast last year. Now we're getting that match. They talk about what happened with Baron Corbin on the show, where he got beat up backstage and had his money taken away from him by Dolph and Robert Roode. And Rosenberg said that he donated the Corbin Fund. How, I don't know, because you can't currently donate online. And they kind of recap his fall from grace before they get comments from him with Kayla Braxton in the building. He reveals that he actually used to get paid $20,000 a week as the King of the Ring, which, if you do the math, that adds up to about over $1 million a year. So Baron Corbin in kayfabe got one of those $1 million contracts, which doesn't quite sound right to me, given he's had a lot of accomplishments, and I like Baron Corbin. Is he worth $1 million a year? Probably not, even as the dumb King of the Ring. He said that while he was King of the Ring, he started buying everything that he ever wanted. New cars, new houses, $1 million mansion, jewelry, and now he can't pay off his vehicles. He can't pay the payment on one vehicle with what he's currently making now that he's no longer the king, and it just keeps getting worse. And he doesn't know when rock bottom is going to hit. They go back to the studio. They recap Bianca Belair's successful defense of the SmackDown Women's Championship at the Rolling Quiet Festival, because no one fucking reacted. They talk about Toni Storm's debut and how Rosenberg, is kind of reminded of her with Rhea Ripley. And Matt Camp said it's only the beginning for her. They get comments from Toni Storm, who says that the debut is everything that she ever imagined. She talks about her 80s inspiration and getting it from her mom. And she soon promises to be the SmackDown Women's Champion. And Rosenberg says that she has a lot of charisma and a lot of potential to go far, which I completely agree with. And that was it. That was Talking Smack in a nutshell. It was only around 23, 24 minutes. The interviews literally last close to probably a minute and maybe two. So that's 6 minutes of a 24-minute show that you should check out. And even the interviews aren't really all that in-depth because they were quick comments. I missed the old format of the show. It was just so much better. Even with McAfee on there instead of Heyman, it was still a very good show. This is completely fucking missable. They could do this type of shit with another show on the network or Peacock if they want. But to replace what they had previously on Talking Smack with this is just very disappointing because there's nothing really here. And we get the same fucking analysis from the same goofs that we get on the bump. I don't watch the bump because it's the same corporate-fed bullshit where they're like, oh, it's the same old dumb analysis I just don't care about because WWE probably either scripts everything for them and they're not going to criticize anything. It's just the same spiel. Who cares, If they want to do that shit on the bump, that's cool, but they weren't doing this stuff on Talking Smack before. Now that they're doing it, it's just dumb. So I'm not a fan of the new format at all. I'll probably continue to watch and review it. Maybe, I don't know, actually. I'm not 100% sure. But so far, it's just not been good. So those are my thoughts on the July 24th, 2021 edition of Talking Smack. Thank you guys for checking out this review. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Like I said earlier, check out my exclusive interview with Mr. Money in the Bank Big E from Friday here on the channel, and stay tuned for more content to come in the days to come as we upload content every single day here on the channel. Have an awesome one, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.